here. Mr. Baker over here. Yeah. Okay. And I have 7:30. All right, everyone, let's get this party started. Welcome everybody to the May 7th edition of the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals. All members are participating remotely. That would be Greg Tanzi, myself, Rob Rosa. That would be Bob Baker Sr. That would be Stephen Galley, and that would be Bob Baker Jr. Got that out of the way. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a second?
I'll second.
Second.
I got a second there. Roll call. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Mr. Baker Sr.?
Yes.
There you go. Mr. Galley
Yes.
and Mr. Baker Jr.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So let's read the advertisement. 7:30 p.m. remotely conducted continuance public hearing will be held by the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals on Tuesday, May 7, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. on the application submitted by 246 East Water Street LLC, Conhio Corporation, 246 East Water Street, Rockland, Mass, care of William R. Eads, Esquire, Dorian Taccio, and Morgan, PC, 175 Derby Street, Hingham, Mass, for a Section 6 finding pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6, and special permit pursuant to zoning bylaws, Section 89, to allow applicant to, one, continue the existing convenience store use, including the sale of beer and wine under new ownership pursuant to an asset purchase agreement, and two, expand the existing convenience store use into the space currently used as the vehicle service repair use and eliminate said vehicle service repair use. Applicant Conhio Corporation, DBA Quick Stop Gas and Convenience. Mr. Patel, manager, is also seeking approval to apply for a retail packaged goods store license to expose, keep for sale, and sell wine and malt beverages not to be consumed on the premises. Premises is licensed from the Board of Selectmen, currently held by Tanya's Deli and Quick Mart. The property is located in the R3 Resident Zoning District, Section 415-10 of the bylaw, and is further identifies Lot 4, Map 60 on this Rockland Assessor's maps. The owner of the property is Stephen S. Minicitis, Realty Trust, 246 East Water Street, Rockland, Mass. 02370. The applicant and all interested parties are advised to check the town website and the zoning board's webpage for additional information. Attorney Eads, can you refresh our memory on what's going on here?
Of course, thank you, Mr. Rosa. All right, so just for the record, William Eads from DTM Law. I'm joined by, on behalf of the applicant, Ravi Patel and Tony Patel, and also from Lala Engineering, Mr. Lala. And I believe also I see the owner, Mr. Minicitis, in the audience as well. So since the last hearing, we've updated our plan. I believe we have addressed all of the comments provided by the board at the last hearing. I don't want to spend your time going through the sort of sundry addition of windows and doors that, and various, but I do want to call out a few material changes. Do you want to throw it up, or can I share my screen?
If you want to share your screen, that's fine.
All right. If you'll bear with me just a moment to find the right one. All right, you should be looking at my screen. Just gonna start up at the top. Material changes that have occurred since we last were here. If you look here in this area on A2, this note, at least on my screen, is a bit small to read. I think it's clearer on this page, that the floor of the former service bay area has been brought up to the same level as the existing convenience store area, which eliminates the issue with the stairs in the center of the convenience store area. As part of that, you can see here and here, there was a former door, or there is a door into the service area from this access to the basement. That is also being eliminated because of the change in the elevation of the floor in the service area. Also, I do not believe it was reflected on the prior plans. The former entrance at the front of the building is being eliminated. And the stairs serving that. In terms of the other material changes, I submitted to the board a number of photos, or 2 photos, I believe I ended up with, showing that Mr. Mensitis had gone out and installed a series of wine barrel planters in this area. It is, when we expand this lined area, it's the intention to add additional ones here and here along the edge of the buffer zone for the parking area, as previously discussed. We're also, the waste oil container was removed by Mr. Mensitis, so that work has already been done. Otherwise, the parking areas were changed as in line with our previous discussions. The dumpster is now fenced in, has an access area, which allows for the 10-foot buffer from all 3 lot lines, and the handicap spaces were shifted over. In terms of the other items, we looked into the AUL on the property. It did require paving of all unimproved areas of the property. So I think and as I think we discussed in brief at the last hearing, your previous section 6 finding agreed with that judgment. So I think hopefully we are fine with that. And regarding the easement, I submitted the deed which that creates that easement. It does appear to be an access easement that was for the purposes of lot, I believe 10 and 11 it is. These section improved the building being at the time referred to as lot 9. But no evidence it was ever used. And certainly there's a fence along the edge of it now, but it does technically exist. But the area is open, so for what that's worth. And I believe the last item on my list was I did confirm with the deputy fire chief and Mr. Rubel that the comments made in the previous letter submitted by the fire department were not applicable, that it was still self-service. So I think that's all I have for the moment. Let me just check back to my notes. And I'm open to take any additional questions from the board, and certainly Mr. Lala is here to answer any further questions there may be on the plan. I'm going to stop sharing now if that's.
Before you do that, I just come back to that easement again. Who was that for the benefit of?
I believe it is now Miss Knotts. If I'm remembering the name, sorry, Klotz. Is it Klotz?
Is it the next door? It's the next door neighbor?
It is the next door neighbor to the east.
Okay.
Derives from a grant in, just checking. Why this one's not dated, obviously, 1985.
Okay, so it's stood, but it is still technically in existence. It has not been extinguished.
No record thereof, no.
Okay, that's just wanted to make certain that we were clear on that one. If you want to stop sharing, that's cool. And then we can go back to the board and just see if anybody has any further questions. Here we go. Mr. Tanzi, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Sounds good. Mr. Baker Senior?
How where you elevated the floor in the garage to the elevation of the store? How are handicapped people getting in there now?
It is still served by the, I guess I should just keep the plan up. My apologies. I'm just gonna throw the plan right back up. All right, if we're back on,
You'll see it better on the elevations of the architecture, of the architectural. It took me a couple seconds, but once you get to the, see, there's a ramp that's now in play. There wasn't a
so
ramp
yeah,
before.
you can see it better on the east elevation there. The ramp runs up from the rear of the building where the handicap parking spaces are, and there's a stair coming up from the area where the pumps are.
Did that answer the question, Mr. Baker Senior?
I thought you were eliminating that door out front by the pumps.
Yes,
Did you
this
just
is
say
on
that?
this is on the eastern elevation, which is the right side of the building if you were standing at the pumps. So the door on the front of the building with the southern elevation, I believe, has been eliminated or will be eliminated.
Okay, is are the pumps gonna stay self-serve?
That is my understanding.
So to fuel up, you gotta go down the side of the building inside and pay and then go back out instead of having that door out front. You're gonna be, the people getting fuel are gonna be crossing paths with cars coming in to get fuel. Because there's two sides to the pump. There's the street side and the building side.
Right. I can't speak to the exact dimensions off the top of my head, but I believe, the door was formerly obviously on the southern elevation. If you're looking at my screen still, here, I believe. And now the entrance will be over here, 20 feet or however many feet, or 30 feet to the east. Obviously I defer to architects on design, but that was the design the applicant is presenting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's all I have, Rob.
All right,
Thank you.
Mr. Galley, what do you got? You got anything?
No, you actually answered the open questions in my head already, so no, I don't have anything at this time.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Mr. Baker Junior?
Nothing at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. So now to me. Can we stop sharing that screen real quick?
Sure.
I know what I have to, what we're doing here. When it comes to the stairway on that right side of the building, when you bump that out when you bump the ramp out to the right off of that building and then step those stairs out, you're getting real close to the property line. And in turn, and just cars go in and out of there. So I get nervous when the stairs are sticking out past that building corner. I would make a recommendation that if it were possible, we're talking about putting a new door in there anyway. If it were structurally possible, I'd like to see that door pushed back a little bit and those stairs pushed back as far as you can get them. So they're not kind of impeding the traffic or possibly impeding the traffic that's coming in off of East Water Street. I know what it's like to try and come off of that road and come in there. So I just, with the steps bumping that far out, and again, it's only about 18 inches based on the drawing that you've got up here. if that can be pushed back, that would probably be a little bit better. If it could be pushed back even further, that would be even better. But
Just so I understand, Mr. Rosa, and then I'm going to
Yep.
turn it over to Mr. Lala.
yep,
You're talking about the stairs as they go down towards the pumps, correct?
exactly. Or
Okay,
come up from and go to the new door that's coming in there. If that can be pushed back, that would be helpful.
Yeah, let me turn it over to Mr. Lala. You're muted, by the way, Mr. Lala. You're still muted, sir.
I've lost almost everybody's picture.
I'm assuming he can hear us.
Let us see. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yes.
Okay. So we had to get this ramp at 1 to 12 slope. We could not do it earlier. We thought the elevations were wrong, and we got the new survey done. And once the survey elevations came, then we had to do it 1 to 12 slope. So we don't even have even 6 inches extra. So once we put the ramp, and as per the ADA code, what is the length of the landing is required. And then whatever space was left, we had to put these stairs going up. So we have 1.5 step sticking out of the face of the building.
And what's the distance from that step to the property line?
Oh, property line is far away.
No, it's not.
Look up,
I'm
please.
looking right at it.
No, look up the plan again,
Street-
please. The site
Ah.
plan, please.
I'm looking at the
See
site plan.
one.
It says 13.7 feet to the corner.
Uh,
And if you're gonna
can we-
lose another, foot and a half, that's
No.
less than what's already existing.
The building is not on the property line. Property line is way at the street.
N-
What we are talking about? Can we do
Eads,
the C1 up
Attorney
here?
Eads, can you help me here?
Yes, no, Mr. Rosa, you are correct. The property line is more proximate to the corner of the building. It is marked as 13 feet, 7 inches. I will say, I think the observation Mr. Lala is trying to make is that the layout of the street is significantly further away.
And while I agree, again, 13.7 feet, the steps are getting that much closer. So
Right.
that's not, the steps themselves are not they're not ADA. Those are just steps. The
Right,
ramps are
but-
ADA, and that's not subject to zoning.
I guess my only concern with your suggestion, Mr. Rosa, is if we push that back even 18 inches,
You're
it
gonna lose
pulls
the
it,
elevation.
well, and we have to maintain the slope.
Mhm.
The entire ramp goes 18 inches back, and we have a pinch on the back corner to the same issue on the travel corridor there, and the handicap spaces would have to move back or be lane, to further away from closer to the other parking area in the rear. So
No, I absolutely hear you on that one. Again, I'm looking at it from the perspective of the ramp in the back is rather wide. It's wider than the ramp that's on the side.
Both are 5 foot wide.
There's no way. I'm not even gonna put a scale on this because I know.
Yeah. You can see the landing is rectangular. So we have the rear slope, the rear ramp is little bit wider than the one on the sidewalk.
What I
But
just said.
that could be our drafting error. We wanted to keep it both 5 foot wide. So
That-
we could push it, but I don't think we have enough room. Before we go to the building department, we'll try to revise this and see if we can push it back by at least 1 step. So that would give us about 10 inches.
No, the big thing that I'm looking at here is
Yeah.
that by putting that where you're putting,
Yeah.
that step is getting closer to the street line.
Yeah, I
than-
understand. I agree.
Than the existing building.
Yeah.
So that being the case, that's a variance, and you never asked for a variance in August.
Now, what is our minimum setback requirement?
What's remind me of the zone on here? This is it's an R2 or an R1?
It's R3, sir.
It's R3. It's 25 feet from the street.
So the building is already in non-conformance.
Exactly. It's pre-existing non-conforming. So if you kept it at 13.7 feet, you'd have no issue. But what you're doing is this comes down to the building inspector. If the building inspector is okay with it, then he's okay with it.
Okay.
But the thing is that from my experience,
Yeah.
those stairs still have to adhere to
Yeah.
the zoning code.
You see that if you look at the offset, we have a dimension of 6.2 feet. So
What?
I could take away 1.2 feet, which is about 14 inches. I can push at least one tread. So we have 1.5 tread projecting out. So each tread is 10 inches. So I could go as much as 14 inches instead of 15 inches. So it will be sticking out about an inch or inch and a half. But I agree that we can do that. We'll push the ramp back.
Whatever you can do, at this point, I'm not so worried about it. All I want you to do is you're gonna have to talk to the building inspector about this.
Yeah,
because if you
before
keep
we
it
do
the way that it
we'll
is-
modify that.
Okay, he's
We'll
gonna keep
modify.
talking over me, so I guess that's gonna be a problem.
Sure. So if 1.5 inches is acceptable, then that's the most I can do.
Okay,
Well,
that's number one. Number two, I'm looking at the architectural, again, the architectural elevations.
Yeah.
What's the interior clear height gonna be inside the garage space once you put the new floor in? Because there's contradicting elevations and numbers in it.
We have 11 minus 3, which is 8 feet, 8 foot 2 inches. To the 8 foot 2 inches to the roof level.
All right,
So
to the roof level.
inside it would be at least 7.6.
Because again, there's contradicting numbers. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We can draw up a section. We will add a section and we'll show what is the clear height. We require clear height in any habitable space of 7 feet, but I'm sure we have about 7'6".
As long as you got it, that's really all I got. All right, Mr. Rubel is not here. So what we need to talk about is strictly it was the section 6 finding and the Attorney Eads, talk to me again. We're looking at the section 6 finding and it was a special permit for.
Under your bylaw, you require a special permit for the approval of transfer of a liquor license.
Okay.
So before they can go to the select board for their approval.
Board members, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Any other questions? Any other issues you want to
No.
look at?
I'm fine, thank you,
Well,
Mr. Chairman.
I had one,
Yes, please go for it.
if you would. Well, on the previous zoning board's decisions, it was on December 18th, 2002. Number 11 on the conditions. This special permit is subject to a yearly review by the zoning board of appeals for compliance and complaints. Has there ever been review? In
I would have-
22 years?
I
I'd have
don't
to
think, yeah.
defer to the
I knew where
board.
I knew where he was going. The only person that can really answer that is Steve, and I know he's sitting back on his couch muted.
Muted?
He's still muted. I can't hear him.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Steve, did you guys ever have any reviews, through the building department for the zoning board?
What kind of reviews?
Then I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna say no then. This would have been a zoning review with the building inspector, going over potential complaints and this, that, the other thing. Even if there were no complaints, technically to stay compliant, you would have had to have the meeting with the building inspector, just go over it, just go over everything that could possibly be wrong. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then I'm gonna say that it's never happened.
All I can say is,
Does that make sense?
all I can say is,
Well,
the
was
no complaints ever filed in the store that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not understanding what the question is about.
As a part of the last special permit that you got,
Yeah,
one of the conditions was, Mr. Baker, was that yearly?
Yes,
this special permit is subject to a yearly review by the ZBA for compliance or complaints. So in other words, the board should have been reviewing the property with the building inspector, going out and looking at it, making sure all the conditions are met. And then that would have taken care of the dumpster problem, the waste oil, the planters that were never put in until a couple of weeks ago.
So here's the deal. If that never happened, we're not even gonna think about it. If the board,
Well,
my
it's still
thought was that
it's still part of the conditions.
it's part of the conditions, all right? If it hasn't been done, well, it's a little bit too late to deal with it now. But if the board does choose to accept the section 6 finding, to make the section 6 finding, and grant the special permit, we can make that a condition. And then we're gonna have to get on the building department to set up some sort of yearly review for this address. And because it all has to start with the building inspector. It doesn't just start with us.
Well,
And
do
I'm
we
never
have
gonna
to
leave it up to,
rescind do we have to modify the special permit from December 2002?
nope, because once the transfer happens, that special permit's dead. If the current applicant decided to stay away, or decided to change his mind and go someplace else, then we'd have to talk to Steve about it a little bit. But right now, based on what I'm seeing, let's classify that as been there, done that. We're not going to talk about it. We're just going to deal with what's coming forward. Which again, if we all agree on the section 6 finding, if we all agree that the special permit can get granted, we can make that a condition. And basically, we're gonna have to make the building inspector aware that that's what's gonna have to happen. And we're gonna have to get on some sort of schedule with them to make that happen. But that's about the only thing that we can do at this point.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
if we are going to make that a condition, could I suggest that we might want to make it a little bit more clear as to whose responsibility it is to initiate that yearly review?
yep, I hear you.
Thank you.
Mr. Baker Senior, you got anything else you want to add?
Not at this time.
All right. I see nobody nobody else in the audience other than current applicant's team, and the next applicant and the applicant's team. I will put it out to the general public. Does anybody want to speak in favor of this? 1, 2, 3. Hearing none. Does anybody want to speak opposed? 1, 2, 3. Board members, do you think you have enough information to be able to make a decision tonight?
Yes.
I do, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let me just minimize that. I need to find my cheat sheet. And right here. All right, Attorney Eads, you know the drill, but I'm just gonna, let's see. I would recommend, or not recommend, but does anybody want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah, I'll
So
make a
moved.
motion to.
Whoa, we got 2. I'm gonna give it to Grega, and I'm gonna say, Mr. Baker Jr., you come in second. So we're gonna
Story of
roll
my
call
life,
that.
Mr. Chairman.
We're gonna roll call that, Mr. Tansey.
Yes.
Yourself is a yes, Mr. Baker Senior.
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Galley
Yes.
and Mr. Baker Jr.
Yes.
Okay. So the open portion of the hearing is closed. And again, I was going to Attorney Eads. I'm gonna read you my cheat sheet here. The board will deliberate tonight. Welcome to stay. You will receive a decision in the mail with the date stamp, 21 days from the date stamp on the decision. Go to the town clerk's office, request a certificate of no appeal. If no one has appealed, the town clerk will give you a certification and a copy of the original decision. Take those to the registry of deeds and have them recorded. One of the conditions is always to show the building department proof of recording. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. The next hearing was.
Thank you.
All right, the next hearing was 7:45, so I think we can get rolling with that. All right, board members, here we go. Remotely conducted continuance public hearing held by the Rockland zoning board. of appeals.
Rob.
Yes,
I gotta sign out because I got no screen.
what do you
I'm
mean? you
gonna
got no
sign out
screen?
and sign back in to see if it works.
Okay,
I got no pictures. You're all frozen.
we're
Except-
all for, okay. Is anybody else having issues?
No.
No,
Nope.
that's what you get for getting an iPad, dude.
It's gotta be mine, so.
See,
Hey.
okay, is everybody okay with giving Mr. Baker, 5 minutes?
Of course.
Is everybody okay with that? And I'm not worried about my board members. I'm worried about everybody else. Is everybody, is applicants team, are we okay with giving Mr. Baker 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Mr. Baker, sign out, sign back in.
Okay, thank you.
We can still see you. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. While he's gone, I'm gonna start up I am gonna read the advertisement. By the time he gets back in, we know he's coming back in, so we can start. 7:45 PM, remotely conducted continuance public hearing will held by the Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 at 7:45 PM on the application submitted by Rockland Station LLC, 171 VFW Drive, Rockland, Mass, and Robert M. Delmonico, trustee, Pleasant Street Realty Trust, 171 VFW Drive, Rockland, Mass, for a special permit pursuant to zoning bylaw sections 415-14C.22. Uses requiring a special permit 415-79, environmental performance standards. Mr. Baker Senior, how you doing, sir? To allow applicant to construct 35,000 square foot building to store equipment and materials that are currently stored outside, and the recycling of existing synthetic turf fields at the premises known as and numbered 171 VFW Drive and 216 Pleasant Street, Rockland, Mass. 171 VFW Drive is located in the B2, the zoning district, section 415-14 of the bylaw, and is further identified as lot 3420, map 29 on the Rockland Assessor's map. The owner of the property is Rockland LLC, 171 VFW Drive, Rockland, Mass. 216 Pleasant Street is located in the B2 business zoning district, section 415-14 of the bylaw and is further identified as lot 29, map 24 on the Rockland Assessors maps. The owner of the property is Pleasant Street Realty Trust, 171 DFW Drive, Rockland, Mass. The applicant and all interested parties are advised to check the town's website and the zoning board's webpage for additional information. Wow. Okay. Remind me, guys, who was taking lead on this? Sean, was that you?
Yeah, I can start off, and we have Rick, our attorney, present as well, who can speak
Perfect.
to some of the deed research. So from the thank you again for the continuance. We have taken the comments back, and we have revised the plans, and I can pull those up now if that helps the board remember the project.
Yeah, that would be great. I wanna go on record as saying the plan set looks good now. You really made this look very presentable. So
Great, thank you. Share that. So one of the biggest things we completed was we separated the existing conditions plan and the proposed site plan. So the first page here I'll show is the existing conditions plan. Standalone, none of the proposed improvements are on this plan. You can identify here the 216 property with the 20-foot right-of-way that Rick can speak to in a couple minutes about what that is and what that was for. Pleasant Street, again, for memory, here is located here, and Veterans Foreign Wars Drive is located in the front of the building here. Here is the existing building structure that is currently on the property. All the existing parking is located here. Handicap parking is here. Additional vehicle parking is here. From an existing conditions standpoint. Additionally, one other thing to note is the easement here has been identified and labeled the length and the width as well. The proposed conditions, again, are a proposed accessory building, 1-story, 35,000 square feet, with asphalt apron is the shaded gray area around it. We are showing all of the landscape setbacks, the emergency vehicle paths, the turning radiuses of the typical deliveries, loads in and out, and then as well as landscape buffer along the front along Pleasant Street. Before I pass it along to Rick to discuss the easement, are there any questions relative to the plan?
board members, you got anything?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other than the only thing that I'm looking at potentially, and I don't know if remember we were talking about the 10-foot landscape setback on the, I guess that's the left side if you're standing on Pleasant Street looking at the proposed building. Does that scale to 10 feet?
Yes, that we did change that. We double checked that. Yeah.
All right. Because in the end, if the board does decide to grant this, we're probably going to look for a site as built. So that kind of thing is going to end up having to be shown on that site as built. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that.
Okay.
Mr. Baker Senior, did I hear you voice an opinion?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, Sean, at this point, the board is all set. If you want to pass the mic, and we can go from there.
Great. Rick, are you able to speak to the easement?
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Frederick Cassvan on behalf of the applicant. So I know there was an issue with the right of way shown on that plan. We ran title on both 171 and 216 Pleasant, 171 VFW and 216 Pleasant. I reviewed this myself with the title company and the title examiner, Quirk Associates, and my review and analysis shows that what was 171 was made up of multiple lots at one time. And one of the interior lots had that right of access, that right of way to get to Pleasant Street. That's how it was, probably pre-zoning. That was the only way it could get out onto the road. So it was for the benefit of that interior lot. Ultimately, those lots, as you know, got combined and became what is known as 171 VFW Parkway, owned by the applicant. Now he owns obviously the Pleasant Street property. By a matter of law, the right of way would merge and be basically terminate, because you don't need to give yourself a right of way
Yeah, you can't
over your own
can't give
property.
yourself an easement, so.
Exactly, Mr. Chairman. So the right of way really is no more. It was for the benefit of an interior lot that's now owned by the applicant. So
Sounds good. Can I ask you this? We had discussions about doing an A&R plan that would get rid of those interior lot lines and making it one big parcel. Is that still the plan?
So I think I could turn it over to Sean, but yeah, the plan was to combine the Pleasant Street and the VFW Parkway lot, make one
Okay.
master lot. To basically dissolve those lines and create one large lot.
Perfect. I didn't, and Sean, I apologize. I didn't mean to like step on anybody's toes or anything like that. I'm just trying to get to
No.
the bottom of everything, you know?
Yeah, that's the next step. We've talked with planning. The 14th is our deadline to submit that
Okay.
plan to planning.
All right. Other than that, I think we really took care of everything. Again, you're showing the potential, the subsurface drainage location. You know, you're thinking about it at this point, you are thinking about everything. And after a discussion with, after a discussion with council, Bob Galvin said that even though just like the last applicant that we were dealing with, something that came before in a previous special permit. We can modify any conditions that we had made previously. And if nobody has any complaints, which I don't see anybody else coming out of the woodwork to complain about emergency entrances and exits onto Pleasant Street, then it really comes down to we can modify those conditions. That's not a big deal. So I think we're in a good place at this point. One more time, board members, you got anything you got any concerns, any issues? The applicant really went a long ways here and made this plan readable, presentable. I'm kind of impressed. So. Anybody?
Nope.
I would entertain a motion to
I do have
close.
one.
Oh, here he comes.
I just have a curiosity.
Okay.
I'm only asking, on the Pleasant Street, they were concerned about emergency entrance. How does that function? Like, how does that stay restricted?
So we are going to have those two entrances.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we are going to have those two entrances and exits gated, locked for fire department emergency access only.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I was curious.
Perfect.
That's all I had to ask.
Sounds good. Anybody else? Anybody? I'd entertain a motion to close the open portion of the public hearing. I got a motion over there with a hand.
Mr. Chairman, could I?
Whoop,
Yes.
sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please.
Just for the just to be clear. So there was on the prior permit, there was condition 1, which had to do with processing, no manufacturing and processing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was condition 6, which was the emergency access. The other conditions I think were fine. I just wanted to just raise that with you just for the motion that those two conditions would be.
You did the right thing. You did absolutely the right thing. Because those are the conditions that I was worried about. We'd already said that they couldn't do it, but now we're gonna turn it over.
Exactly.
But at this point, again, we can do it. There's nobody here that says that they're against it. So right now, I'm not gonna worry about it. So I've got a motion to close the public hearing, to the open portion of the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
There's a second. Okay, we're gonna roll call. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Mr. Galley?
Yes.
Mr. Baker Jr.?
Yes.
And Mr. Baker Senior?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Boyd, let me get my cheat sheet back up. Okay. Mr. Boyd, the board will deliberate tonight and you are welcome to stay. You will receive a decision in the mail with a date stamp, 21 days from the date stamped on the decision. Go to the town clerk's office, request a certificate of no appeal. If no one has appealed, the town clerk will give you a certification and a copy of the original decision. Take those to the registry of deeds and have them recorded. One of the conditions is always to show the building department proof of recording. All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Facilities break. Is everybody okay with that?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
5 minutes. We'll talk to everybody in a few. One, two, three, 4, 5. So we're all back, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, gentlemen, we ready?
Yep.
Yes, everybody's good?
Yes.
All right. So what are we talking about? We're talking about 246, 246 East Water Street. How's everybody feel?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right. Basically what they're doing is they're increasing a non-conforming use by taking over the second half of the building, which was already a non-conforming use. So everybody's okay with that?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
looking for a section 6 finding. Again, I don't see that end of it being any more not much more non-conforming because they've already got, again, they're driving in and out of that building with cars while people are getting gas. This is technically would be, they're taking away that front entrance, which is going to give people that much more room to drive in there. So I feel like this is going to be, it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. So we can look at it, we can look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Section 6 finding, everybody's okay with this?
Mm-hmm. I am.
We'll deal with that in the form of a motion after we're all set. Big question. It's the special permit to allow the transfer and everything. This is where conditions will come into play. Deb, are you able to share that screen? And it's a Canada Dry, it's not a Heineken.
I'm having technical difficulties here. I can't get back the Zoom link.
What do you mean?
I can't. Wait a minute. I just have like a tiny little screen thing.
Go up to the upper right-hand side where it says view.
I don't have my upper right-hand side, no.
Ew. Go up to the top of the screen. Does it say in the upper left-hand side, does it say Zoom meeting?
Well, I can see you, but I can't pull up anything else, so I can't share my screen.
All right, go to the top of the screen with your cursor. You
Yeah.
double click. Tell me what happens.
Nothing. Nothing happens.
Okay. Want to email it to me? Do you have that capability?
Yeah,
Email it to me and I'll pull it up.
all right, just give me 1 second and I'll get it to you.
Yep. I'm in my email right now.
Sorry, just 1 second.
If it's too big of a deal, I think Mr. Baker has them. He can probably just read them.
I just emailed it to you.
Oh, okay. And there you are. All right.
So scroll down.
Desktop. Good. Good. Okay, here we go. Right. All right, everybody see that? Oh, no, wait a second.
Nope,
No, oh, they were,
there you go.
is it in here, Deb?
Yeah, it is. Keep scrolling. You'll get to them.
That should be the one that Bob was reading. Mr.
Yes.
Baker, is that the one
Yep.
you were reading? Yep, there it is. Subdivision, okay.
Yeah, go
So,
back 1 page. You go back 1 page, Bob, it starts at
yeah, I
number
know.
1.
It's
There it
yeah,
is.
it's down here. But
Right
this
here.
is the one. This
Yep.
is the last.
Okay.
These are the last ones that came up, right?
Yep.
All right. So the repair hours, that's out. Gas hours, keep that. I guess keep that the same. Deli hours, keep that the same. Dumpster area will be fenced in.
Yeah.
Is that current? Meaning is
Yeah.
it currently fenced in by 6-foot stockade fence? I thought things were changing to like 7.
We can
Anybody
change
know?
it to 7.
Say again. Bob,
I think we changed it to 7.
we changed it to 7 because I know the state came out and changed the requirement for special
Right, the
permits.
height of fences. Right,
So,
Yeah.
Dumpster area will be
we can go to
fenced in.
7. I think Tom was saying that we can now go to 7 foot.
Well, at this point, do we know what the requirement is? Because is it a highway department or is it a board of health requirement?
But the dumpster would be Board of
Yeah.
Health.
Right, dumpster area shall be fenced in and comply with the Board of Health rules and regulations for,
Board of Health
okay, so something along
Compliance.
those lines, but,
And
you know,
security.
dumpster area it shall be fenced
Yeah.
in compliance with Board of Health rules and regs. No banners on the property, that's fine. Lighting will be directed away. There will be no additional signs. That hasn't said anything. There will be no parking on Liberty side, on the Liberty Street side of the building. We know that. Parking areas will be lined and marked as on the plan presented to the board on today's date. And I'd like to make note of the plan date and everything on that. There will be no parking on the sidewalk. Petitioner will
Yeah,
notify.
whatever the new site plan.
Bob, are you having Bob, are you having like a delay?
I can't, sometimes you're fading out when you're talking. And your picture's frozen.
My picture's frozen.
Now you're frozen. Yeah, everybody is.
That's your internet signal, dude. All right.
It
So,
happened just after he put the pictures up. The plans up.
okay. Parking areas will be lined as on the plan presented to the board on December 18th. Again, I'd like to just, today's date, and then just make sure that we know what the date of the plan set is. There will be no parking on the sidewalk. Petitioner will notify his customers and will enforce this condition. Special permit is subject to a yearly review by the ZBA for compliance and or complaints. And Mr. Baker Jr., did you have any specific language that would help there? You're muted. You're still muted.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on something right now. I don't know how good it is, but when does this become, well, hypothetical? If the petition or if we grant the request from the petitioner, when do they go into effect?
Basically, the second that they move in.
Okay. How about something like this? Not less than 1 year from occupancy by the petitioner. The petitioner shall contact the building inspector in writing, and each year thereafter. The petitioner will contact the building inspector in writing and request a yearly review.
Okay.
And I can, make that a little bit more coherent, but do I have the right thrust there?
Oh, absolutely. I believe so. Board members, do you like what he came up with on the fly like that?
Yeah.
Yes, and Rob, could we add that at the discretion of the building inspector or zoning enforcement officer? If Tom feels there's nothing wrong, then, we don't have to bring the guy up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do agree with that. I do.
Well, my only question on that, Mr. Chairman, is can you impose a duty on the building inspector by a condition applicable to the petitioner?
You can't pose a condition on the building inspector.
Right. So the purpose of the language that I used was just to put impose on the petitioner a requirement to contact the building inspector to request that annual review. Yep. What the building inspector does from there is up to him.
I agree with you there. As long as he makes some sort of notification
Right.
or some sort of note in the file that the applicant came to him in regards to a yearly review, he found that it was not necessary because everything was in play, blah, blah. And as long as that goes into the file, then we're clear. We're covered. And the applicant is covered.
But again,
I got a question.
By doing that, we're imposing a duty on the building inspector.
Not really. I mean, this is the applicant, all right? We're imposing it on the applicant to go.
Right. That's absolutely clear. But what happens from there?
Well, I mean, we said that, we said it the last time, the special permit is subject to a yearly review by the ZBA for compliance and or complaints. So let's do this then. Let's do this. Let's work with the let's work along the lines of the language that we got. And say that the applicant shall contact the ZBA and make, and in order to make, a yearly review.
Okay.
You know, that way that way they're contacting us directly.
Yep.
And then we can get Tom involved. And this will give Deb one more thing to do. I mean, it's not like she has anything to do during the day anyway, so I mean, she's sitting back drinking cocktails all day. It doesn't matter. So.
Yeah.
We'll unfortunately, we're gonna have to stick this on Deb, so the applicant, again, if you can come up with some language, some better language than what I'm saying. But along the lines of, shall contact ZBA, blah, 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 blah. Is that, Attorney Eads, is there
Mr. Chairman?
anything, are you adverse to anything that we're talking about at this point for your applicant?
I would say I obviously defer to you guys, your judgment. I don't see a specific issue with having the review just be at the building inspector's discretion, but I think either version of that would be acceptable. The only other comment I wanted to make is, or just remind you, if you go down to page 21 of that filing, there were additional conditions from the 2006 finding having to do with the liquor license that I believe you'll also want to echo in your decision.
Let's do 2006.
And
I got 2005.
Sorry, did I get the wrong date?
I'm double checking with you.
Page 20 through 23 of that filing, or 20 through 22 of that filing, should be a January 11th, 2006 section 6 finding regarding the liquor license, which had conditions specific to the operation of the liquor license that you said previously. And the only other thing, I'm generally amenable to those conditions, as I stated in our original letter. The only request my applicant had made was an extension of the hours recited in that permit, which obviously is at the board's discretion.
Can you remind me of the hours?
We had suggested expanding the hours for hours of operation for Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. through 11 p.m., alcohol 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. operation with alcohol, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And again, that is all, the alcohol sale hours are also subject to Board of Selectmen approval.
Anybody else? Anybody have any issues with that?
No.
Why do they want to open at 5 a.m.?
For the
What,
gas?
coffee and
Industrious.
gas?
They didn't give me a specific reason.
Yeah, and if it's a gas, deli's gonna be open with coffee, and why wouldn't you want to open at 5 a.m.?
And living very close to that intersection, there is a lot of traffic there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right. So
There you go.
they're trying to take advantage of the fact that there are potential customers. So I don't have a problem with the time. There shall be open containers. There shall be, I'm going to share my screen on this one so you can see this. Sure. All right, this is the 2006. Does everybody see there we go. Does everybody see that? There shall not be any open containers or bottles. There shall not be the sale of single cans, bottles of beer. All right, and what was the name, Deb, do you have the name of the new manager?
It's in the letter. It's
Number 5 should be highlighted. in bold letters. Because there's never been locks in the coolers there.
Okay. You hear that, Deb?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I don't have a problem there. And go back up to,
The other thing is the tip certified.
yep. So basically,
the
it's
select-
coming from that one. 22. Coming from this one. The name of the manager is changing. The hours are changing. That's it. Does everybody agree to that?
Mhm.
All right. So we're gonna work with the
Okay.
2006 conditions.
DeRosa,
Yes.
the name in condition 8 changes as well.
Name of the business for the retail wine and malt package store. So we've got that. All right, so Deb, we'll just double check and we're just making notes here. So number 8. Mr. Baker wants 5 and 6 highlighted, I guess. Bold letters. And then the hours and the manager are gonna change on that, so that takes care of that one. I'm gonna go to. There's nothing here that we had to really deal with. That was the variance for the, yeah, that was the variance. And then these coming from the 2002. Repair hours, we're not gonna worry about. Gas hours, we're gonna change. Attorney Eads, they were looking to change the gas hours to meet again, the 5 o'clock and all that.
I don't believe it had been specifically raised, but I think the expectation would be that the gas and deli hours would be matching. Yes.
I agree. All right, so when it comes to hours of operation, Deb, just make sure that there's a clear distinction that the gas, or basically that gas and deli hours are gonna be the same.
Sorry, just to be clear, the same as the hours discussed for the changed hours.
Exactly.
Yes, good.
Dumpster area will be fenced in, and we talked about the dumpster area being compliant with the current Board of Health rules and regulations. No banners, lighting. There will be no additional signs on the property. No parking on Liberty Side Street. Parking areas will be lined and striped. Based on the plan that we saw on this date, with the date of the plan in there. No parking on the sidewalk. Special permit is subject to a yearly review that we just talked about.
I took another shot at that, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like to hear it.
Please, yeah, go for it.
All right, not later than 1 year from the date of occupancy of the premises by the petitioner and each year thereafter, the petitioner shall contact the Zoning Board of Appeals in writing to request a review of compliance and complaints.
Perfect. I don't have a problem with that. Greg, did you have, I feel like I missed something you wanted to talk about.
Well, I was just my thought about the 1 year review was maybe if they had 1 or 2 violations in a year, then they come back for a review. If they have no violations, then it's not an issue. I hear what you're saying. Why drag them back if there's not an issue? Why have Tom Rubel chasing after the wind if there's no issue?
Well, we don't. The point is that they contact us. We then contact Tom Rubel, find out if he's got any issues. If he's got the issues, then we take it to the next level, because as the zoning.
Then we haul their ass in.
Yeah, exactly. Then Tom would, as the zoning enforcement officer, would tell them that they have to come to us for another hearing, for another meeting. But
Yeah,
Tom has no issues, then we can write him back and say that the building inspector has no issues. Consider this year a yearly review.
all right,
Something like that. That way we're not forcing anybody to come to us for no reason.
okay,
And I mean, if there are no issues, complaints, or anything else, it might not
Right.
amount to
Rob?
anything more than a phone conversation between the owner and Tom.
Exactly. I agree. And then, Mr. Baker, you had something?
I was thinking when you were talking about where the steps are.
Mhm.
There on the side, the right side of the building.
Mhm.
What if we made that one way in? And then when they leave, they would have to go out Liberty Street side and they could use the stop sign for traffic, or go to the right towards the ET Wright building. Would that
Oh, you mean for
eliminate
driving?
the distance?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you
Just
say,
so
Rob, the
that-
sole
Well,
means of,
I was thinking,
Not gonna work because you got people coming in from people coming in from the Liberty side street to go on that closest, the pump closest to the intersection. I know that specifically because that's what I do.
right,
So it's like it's from there.
but it would eliminate people, double traffic there by that, where the porch is gonna be,
No, I agree, but now
the handicap ramp and the porch. The entrance.
But what you're doing is you're forcing me to have to go around the building now.
Oh, the people are
Me?
gonna pull in there to go to the deli. They're gonna go into the parking lot.
Right.
The people going to the gas pump can still go in.
Yeah, but what about the people coming off of Liberty Street to go to the gas pump that's closest to the intersection? Like I do.
They can still do it.
Yeah, but now I can't leave. Now I can't.
I'm not
pull out.
saying make in front of,
If you make it a one way, then I can't
Yes.
go out onto East Water Street.
yes, I'm not saying make it one way at the pumps. I'm saying make it one way going into the parking lot. From where the stairs start going in, they can come in off of East Water Street to go into the parking lot.
Right.
But they can't come back out and go across East Water Street.
Okay. So,
But the
what I'm
people at the
saying
pump
is,
can still
if you-
leave.
Bob, think about this. If you make it a one way, I hear what you're saying. I do. But if you make it a one way, then when I or somebody else comes in off of Liberty Street to go into the pumps, doesn't matter which one, left or right. Typically, they're going straight out and they're bumping out
Right.
onto East Water Street. That defeats the purpose.
Right.
It's no longer a one way. It's no longer a one way in. You can't do that. You would have to not allow anybody to come in off of Liberty Street.
No,
then
they
what you're
just
gonna end
couldn't-
up with
they
is
couldn't go
people
up
trying to
the
turn
side of the
around in
building.
front of the building.
I'm saying
Right.
coming out, leaving the property,
Right,
that alleyway would be one way only to the stairs.
right. The
They could
alleyway.
still come across the front of it.
I think we're overanalyzing.
The one way wouldn't go all the way out to the street.
I hear you, but I think you're overanalyzing it at this point. No one's ever brought that up to any of us at any given time. It's never been a problem. I hear you when it comes to that, when it comes to the stairs bumping out and stuff like that. And the only other thing that before I keep going, the only other thing that I'd like to add in there is that, the location of those stairs that's gonna be set, I mean, we already know this, but that's subject to the building inspector's, approval. You know, I can't, it's, to me, that looks like a variance, it needs a variance, but no variance was ever asked for, so we can't even talk about it. But we can say that the location and proximity of those stairs to the street line shall be subject to the building inspector's, review. That's number one. And number two, this is something that we should be able to bring up at the yearly review. I say give it a year, right? Give it, and they're trying to expand the business. We had people at the last meeting that were a little bit worried about expanding the business. I hear it. I'd like to, I'm suggesting that we give the benefit of the doubt to the applicant, and let's not worry about a one way in, one way out situation at this point. Let's look at this in a year and see what happens. If it turns into an issue, then that's when we start discussing. And that's something that we can bring up with both highway and the building inspector, as well as the police department.
Mhm.
I feel I think that's the better course of action at this point, rather than limit it, right? Like right off the
Okay.
bat.
All right. The other
Is that-
thing is, delivery. If they're gonna be open at 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't want the
Deliveries at
bread
5 o'clock.
guy and the,
All right, I never saw anything in there
Because-
about deliveries.
it is in a residential neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. Gas hours, deli hours, dumpster hours, no banners, lighting, no additional signs, parking areas, parking, and then let me just go down to the last one.
What time is the gas delivered? Do we know?
We're gonna put time limits on that. There's nothing in either of these that talks about deliveries.
Mhm. But we're expanding the store to a convenience store now.
Right.
This
No,
is
it's, I agree with you there. So, and there's nothing in there about, trash pickup. There's nothing in there about times for trash pickup either. So those are three things that we need to look at also. So deliveries,
trash pickup is regulated by the Board of Health.
when it comes to time,
Yes.
okay, then somewhere in there, trash pickup times shall be, in accordance with, Board of Health rules and regulations. Does that work?
Yeah, we can just add that under the dumpster
Yeah.
being fenced
okay.
in.
So we got that, and then, deliveries. Talking to people, what's a good delivery time? Nothing before 7?
Delivery of goods are prohibited from 9 PM to 7 AM. 7 days a week.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Huh?
Attorney Eads, thumbs up, thumbs down, what do you think?
My only comment is I think to the extent, the hours of operation were previously 6 AM to 9 PM.
Mhm.
So presumably that would have been the hours of deliveries as well, if one was ever discussed at previous hearings. But no serious comment either way, 6 or 7.
I hear you. I'm gonna say that at this point, if the board is happy.
This is a new application.
Very true, very true. That's why I think that's why he was kind of dancing around that, because he knows it's a brand new application, so.
Right.
All right, knowing nothing between 9 PM and 7 AM. If the board's happy with that, I would entertain a motion at this point.
I have a question.
You would have a question.
I'm sorry.
Allison wanted some type of, no parking signage along like that Liberty Street side
Mhm.
where the little planter barrels are.
No street parking?
She wanted like some no parking signs there because in the winter, those may be removed for like plowing, shoveling or whatever.
No.
Gotcha. So let me just pull up let me look at the plan real quick.
There's no room there to put a.
No, I know what she's trying to say. Basically, if you look at the proposed site plan, there's pavement marking. There's the pavement line marking typical. It's a crosshatch section. That's basically they lined that area that says no parking. Or it's typically, it doesn't say no parking, but if they were to put a crosshatch down that entire side and paint no parking. And it's either that or it's require them to have no parking signs attached to the building.
I think that's a pretty simple solution, Mr.
Is that a
Chairman.
simple solution? All right.
Just one or two no parking signs on that side of the building.
Okay. On the, what side is that? On the, where's my north
Right.
arrow?
Because if you paint it on the pavement, it's gonna get covered with snow.
Two no parking signs on
I
the
think-
west side of the building, on the northwest and the southwest side of the building. Northwest and southwest corners of the west side of the building. Does that work? Satisfies Allison, satisfies the no parking requirement?
Do we want to put it at, anything with the highway saying that, design and language? Because you can get no parking anytime, no parking here at the corner.
I think no parking is sufficient.
Yeah, just, it's no parking is sufficient. Yeah, we're not looking for like AASHTO, requirements or anything like that, just simple no parking.
Got a
All right,
question.
No parking.
yes, Mr.
anytime.
Galvin.
To go back to the question about when deliveries are allowed,
Mhm.
are we concerned about a noise issue? Are we concerned about the backup beeping alarm of delivery trucks or diesel engines running? What are
Oh, yeah,
what
all
are
of
we
them.
thinking?
All
What
of
is
it.
okay. All right, I was just curious
Yeah.
if that would be much louder than anybody driving a pickup truck that has a backup alarm in the parking lot to stop in for coffee or something on the way out,
Can't
way to
stop
work.
that you can't stop.
No, I know you can't stop that, but I'm just saying, would it be louder? Would it be, I mean,
Potentially.
A delivery
would that
truck,
noise be?
a delivery truck. If I may, Rob, a delivery
Yeah.
truck has a louder backup alarm than a van delivering. Because goes by the weight of the truck. What
Okay.
decibel the alarm has to be.
So there would be a difference.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I have just one more thing.
What do you got?
A gas delivery is gonna be the same as the, delivery times for like the goods to the store?
Say again, I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
The gas delivery times the same as the delivery times to the store?
Yeah,
Yes.
we should say that.
All right,
Anything else we want to throw in there, gentlemen? Nope, everybody good? I'd entertain a motion to, first and foremost, we have to deal with the, section 6 finding. So if somebody wants to make a motion, about the section 6 finding, and not more detrimental to Anybody?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that with the section 6 finding that it's not substantially more detrimental to the existing structure and business that's there now.
I got a motion. Do I get a second?
Second.
I got a second on that. Roll call. Mr. Tanzi?
Second,
Yes,
Myself is a yes. Mr. Galley?
Yes.
Mr. Baker Jr.?
Yes.
Mr. Baker Senior?
yes,
All right, so that takes care of that section of it. Now the special permit end of it. I would entertain a motion to grant the special permit with conditions. And I believe we went over those conditions at length. If anybody's got any problems or questions, let's talk about them now. But if not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, look at that, both at the same time. Mr. Baker Jr., I'm giving that to you. Mr. Tanzi, you came in second. Roll call.
I'll second it then.
There you go. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes,
Myself is a yes. Mr. Galley?
Yes.
I got Mr. Baker Jr.
Yes.
and Mr. Baker Senior.
yes,
There we go. Attorney Eads?
yes.
We're good to go, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your time this evening.
I'm sorry it took as long as it did.
Good to get it done right.
No, we're trying.
Thank you.
All right, we got one more to go. So let me bring up that. Get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of my email. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so we got that. All right, so we're looking for a special permit. Let's talk, guys. What do we got to talk about? Anybody have any concerns, questions? Personally, I think this is a great use.
Yeah.
It's recycling, it's thinking about the environment. So I don't see how that can be bad.
Yeah, any
I only have
questions?
one.
Any questions I may have had from the last meeting were answered tonight, so.
Mr. Baker Senior, you got something? Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes,
what you got?
we got an email from the highway superintendent wanting them to, about the daily load check and daily sweeping of VFW Drive. It was dated 4/16/2024.
Okay. So basically, we can't talk about it right now because it never got brought up during the open portion of the public hearing. So it is in the
And
record.
put it as a condition.
That's my point. It is, it is a part of the record itself because it got submitted. So in the grand scheme of things, actually, do you have that with you?
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor, read it.
Yes, I do.
We can't talk about it.
Don't ask me to share it because there's no way I'm barely
Yes, 'cause-
holding on to the meeting.
I know, it's because you're using a tablet.
You want me to try to read it to you?
Yeah, if you can read it, that way the applicant can at least hear it. We can't talk about it with the applicant, but at least they can hear it. We can make that a condition, and if there's an issue, then we can have a discussion with the highway department.
Right. The highway department would like to request a cleanup in our load checkout area before trucks leave the site. At the very least, daily load checks and daily sweeping. Currently part of the specs for dunnage permit. This is all in the dunnage permit. The area in front of the existing facility is covered with sediment tracked out of the facility, which is a combination of overspill of loads. We feel this would be an adequate request with the new facility and also would be a preventive for the future road project. This will also cover the towns in regards to stormwater MS4 best management practices, BMPS in parentheses, related to private facilities and developers bordering town layouts.
Okay. I just found it. Cleans it. So basically, what he's asking right off the bat is to make sure that it's that the entrance remains clean. What it sounds like to me. I mean, he's just it's clean up and or load checkout area before the. So again, a load checkout area. I don't know if that's something that he's looking to have constructed just prior to the the entrance, like the entrance and exit onto VFW. I don't know if that's something he's looking to have constructed. So he's definitely looking to keep it clean. And again, he's looking for.
I can contest to.
Okay, so I thought you were going to continue there, but again, currently part of specs for dunnage permits. Not sure if the applicant currently gets dunnage permits, but it sounds like that's something that the highway department is going to be requiring now from now on, I guess. So again, it looks to me like the highway department is requesting that the entrance and exit be kept clean. So as a condition, I would definitely say that applicant shall comply with the letter as dated, letter dated April 16, 2024 by the highway department and I don't know. There's got to be some kind of coordination between the highway department and the applicant.
Mr.
In regards to,
if I can just clarify.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Okay.
Technically, you can't. If you can make it quick, I'll let you go.
We on the new plan, we identify the two areas of truck check locations on the site plan to address his comment.
All right, so you already took care of it.
Yes.
Okay. Look at you, truck inspection station. Baker Senior, they already took care of it.
I didn't see that.
They already took care of it. So, Mr. Boyd, thank you very much, sir.
I didn't see it.
No, that's fine. They already took care of it. They got the truck inspection station already taken care of. But as a condition, we're still going to put, applicant is subject to the request of the highway department, based on letter dated April 16th, I think it was. I'll come up with better language at that point. Anybody else? What do you got? Come on.
I got nothing.
What do you got? You got nothing here? The guy that wants to serve beer and wine, we gave him, we took 6 hours to figure that out. This is huge. Okay, I like it. Let me see. Deb, do you have their last special permits?
In your email.
In my email. Let's go to my email so we can look at all the special permits and put it all together and see what we got there.
Rob, so where they're gonna lock the gate on the emergency access gates, they required to give the fire department keys?
Yep.
And do every 6 months, I think they should check the lock, put the key in, move it around, open it, oil it up, that it doesn't get dried out and not
Yeah,
open.
did you just send those to me or are you going by an older one?
I sent them about 10 minutes ago. Did you not get it?
Got nothing. The only one I got is from BTM.
Okay, I just resent it, Rob.
There it is. All right, let me just open this up. All right, this one is who is this? This is 2016. All right, you all see this? There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just get down to the conditions. This is the 2016. Hey, I even made the motion to grant the last special permit in 2016. Gregor, you seconded it. Nice. Okay. I like this. The owner shall supply an actual as-built survey plan showing the location of, and it's going to be the owner shall supply an actual the owner shall supply a site as-built survey plan. And that'll end up being it. This is the message board. We're not going to talk about that. It's not a big deal. Digital display, nothing that. Copy of the same. Okay. That is going to end up being one of the conditions like we always do. All right. So 2016, that's nothing. This is the okay. This is June 21st, 2016. Let me just share that. You guys can see that? Yes. There we go. All right. There shall be no manufacturing.
There we go.
That's not going to happen. That's coming out. There shall be no stacking of materials higher than the fence. Do we keep that in there, guys? Because the whole point is they're trying to put that stuff inside the building.
Yes.
All right, so we keep that in there, but there shall be no stacking of material. Yeah, so yeah, we can keep that in there. No
Should
storage.
it just say there should be no outside stacking?
Yeah, there we go. There shall be no storage of equipment at this location. Equipment shall be used for loading and unloading of materials. I think they were talking about storing equipment in the building. So there shall be no storage of equipment outside of the building at this location. Equipment shall be used for loading and unloading of materials. So if there's any equipment that they need stored, they're going to put it in the
Especially
building.
in the, I think there should be something there that they can't store anything in the fire access road or pathway.
All right, Kia, we'll put that in in the condition. Or as a condition. Dust control shall, okay. For number 4, dust control. Applicant shall comply with recommendations by the Rockland Highway Department in letter dated April 16th, 2024. Hours of operation, they never asked for a change in that. All right, number 6 was there, spelled wrong, but there shall be no vehicular or pedestrian access to or from Pleasant Street. I mean, other than emergency access. So so I guess, Mr. Baker, can I say this? Other than emergency access, there shall be no vehicular or pedestrian access from Pleasant Street. Does that work?
Which Mr. Baker?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Baker Jr.
It does.
That works. All right, so I'd like to see that in there. And then again, copy of proof of recording. Is that one? That one. We'll go back. And then here's a 2014. Let me just get there. This was all sign permits. For 2014, it was all sign permits. So I think we've got everything, conditions for, I think we got all the conditions. Oh, look at that. I just got another one from Deb. So the one I was reading was the first one.
Okay.
So there's a glitch somewhere. There's definitely a glitch someplace. All right. So there's that. Anybody else? Anybody else want to add anything? No, everybody else seems fine.
I am, Mr. Chairman.
Just look at the plan one more time just to make certain. Because again, this is just for us. All right, this is just for the special permit to do what they want to do. They're still going to have to go through site plan review. So this is not the last time that a board is going to get their hands on this plan. So other than that, I would entertain a motion to grant the special permit with conditions.
So moved.
I got that. Who's going to second that, please? Mr. Galley. Mr. Galley second that. I saw his hand raised before he rose it. So there we go. We got a motion. We got a second. Roll call. Mr. Tanzi.
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Mr. Galley.
Yes.
Mr. Baker Jr.
Yes.
Mr. Baker Sr.
Yes.
Yes, there it is. All right. All set, guys. We'll start putting this together and then, yeah, again, I already read everything. So once we put this together, 20 days from the final, but you guys are already gonna have something going with planning board, right? You're already in the mix over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're good. And in the end, if the appeal period isn't up, I can make communication with the planning board and let them know where we stand. That way there's nothing holding you guys up.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Does that all work?
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to draft the decision, or are you guys comfortable with
Oh, no, we
yourselves?
do that. We do that for,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
we
I just like to
wanna
offer it.
No, and I really appreciate that. But Deb doesn't really do anything during the day, so I mean, she has plenty of time to do this. So
I'll let you deal with that.
Again, I definitely appreciate the offer.
Okay.
But yeah, we take care of that. That's not a problem. All right, guys, that's it. We got a couple of other things to handle with the rest of the meeting. So let me see where we are here.
Excellent.
Non-deliberative announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the
all.
board. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, so we got non-deliberative announcements and scheduling. Deb, you got anything to talk about?
No, I do not.
Okay. Other items not reasonably anticipated to the extent allowed by law. I'd like to do
Motion
this.
to adjourn.
Yeah, hold on, we're not done yet. I'd like to, for the next meeting, because we're supposed to do this, but we haven't done this in a while. I'd like to get it on the agenda for board reorganization. If it stays the same, it stays the same. It's just to stay compliant, we have to do this. So,
We usually do it in July.
no, we didn't do it, did we do it in July last year?
Yeah, we do it in July, right after the fiscal year.
You sure? I don't
Yeah,
remember
Yes, we
doing
did.
it. Okay, it came to me,
mean,
in a dream last night. I don't know why.
I mean, we can do it. It doesn't matter to me. We can do it next meeting. We can do it.
I just want to know that it's done once a year,
Yeah.
and if we're, and for some reason, I don't remember doing it last year. If we
Yeah,
did it
because
last year, cool. If we didn't, doesn't matter.
We
I'd like
did,
to,
because you also have to do the signature authority form too. We do it at the same time.
I don't remember that. I don't know. I don't,
Yeah.
if we did, cool. If we didn't, then I just want to make sure that it's at least on everybody's radar.
So I'll put it on for the first hearing in July,
Cool,
which is probably just before July 4th.
rocking. And then the only other thing is I do want to get back to, zoning modifications.
Yep.
Things that we kind of want to get rolling. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we're gonna have it a second, town meeting. If I don't know if we're gonna have an emergency town meeting or something like that. But I'd like to prep for it. I'd like to at least think that we're going to, because we usually do. So again, if everybody can pick like one thing that they're kind of hot and heavy on and think that needs to be modified, maybe we can figure this out and go from there. Do we have, how's that, Deb, what's our schedule like? What's our schedules like coming up?
So the first week of June, I don't recall the date offhand, you're gonna have 2 hearings, one for 200 VFW Drive,
Okay,
the classic cars in the basement,
Yep.
and what's the other one? Space Bistro up on Union Street.
okay.
And then there's still some things kind of pending, but nothing's, I don't think, close to being filed yet.
Dig it. So rather than try to schedule a meeting where we have to get together and talk about these things, maybe just peruse the zoning bylaw. Everybody peruses the zoning bylaw. If you've got something that you think doesn't work or needs to be modified, needs to kind of get changed to today's topics and stuff, just write some notes. Just give me get some notes to Deb, and each person will come up with a different thing, and then we'll have at least 5 things from us that we think need to be changed at the next or that should be changed for the next town meeting. And then we can include Tom, and we can include Allison in this. Again, that's 5, 6, 7. So 7 different things that could be changed. And then if we're all okay with all of them, then we write something up with the help of Deb. We write something up. Talk to the planning board, see if they're okay with it, and go from there. Everybody cool with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to schedule a meeting, we don't have to stay late, for something else. I think it works better than, because this is kind of like a freebie stuff for us. So if it works, then I'd like to do that. So other than that, I think we had a motion to adjourn. I interrupted it, but I'll accept it as a motion. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
I got a second. Roll call, Mr. Tanzi.
Yes.
Myself is a yes, Mr. Galley.
Yes.
Mr. Baker Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Baker Senior,
Yes.
4 seconds. Okay, so that's it. Get out of here. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Enjoy the
Good night.
evening. We'll talk to you all during the
Good
week.
night, everyone.
All right, good night.